What if a prison, the very place meant to correct you, becomes the scene of your death? Imagine being trapped in a burning shower. It feels as if the heat is stripping layers off your skin, and the only people who can save you are the ones who put you there. This is the reality of Darren Rainey's last moments. How did this happen? Why did his cries for help go unanswered? Welcome to our deep dive into the harrowing case of Darren Rainey, a man whose final moments were marked by unimaginable suffering. This story isn't just about Darren, it's a reflection of a system that failed him and reveals the dark corners of the justice system and the agony of mentally ill inmates in prison. If you're ready to uncover the truth, keep watching as we piece together Darren's final hours and the aftermath that ignited a national debate and prompted us to confront the harsh realities of the treatment of inmates within the U.S. prison system. Now, let's take a closer look at Darren Rainey's life before his imprisonment. Darren was more than just a name on a prison register. He was a man with a history and an identity. Born on January 12, 1962, Rainey's life before his imprisonment was shaped by his battle with schizophrenia, a mental health condition that often left him vulnerable. Despite his struggles, Rainey faced the same daily realities as many, trying to find his way in a world that can be unforgiving to those with mental illness. His encounters with the law, resulting in repeated arrests for cocaine possession, were a testament not only to his personal challenges but also to a system that often fails to provide adequate support for those with mental health issues and substance abuse. Rainey's life, before becoming a symbol of a flawed justice system, was one of complexity and humanity, marked by the same hopes and hardships that touch many lives. Our story begins on June 23, 2012, at the Dade Correctional Institution in Florida. Darren Rainey, a 50-year-old inmate with schizophrenia, was serving a 2-year sentence for a nonviolent drug charge, a relatively minor offense that turned into a death sentence. The details surrounding Darren Rainey's death are harrowing. On that fateful night, Darren was taken from his cell to a shower room. The details of what happened in that shower room are disturbing. It's important to note here that the full story took time to come to light. Initial reports didn't fully capture the gravity of the situation. It wasn't until later that the truth began to emerge. Darren was locked in a shower with burning hot water. The temperature was controlled from outside the shower, and he was left there for nearly 2 hours. The water was deadly hot. Fellow inmates describe hearing his screams, pleading for mercy, but his pleas were met with mockery. The water temperature was later reported to be 160 degrees Fahrenheit, and when he was finally found, it was too late. Rainey had collapsed and his body was covered in burns, so severe that his skin reportedly fell off at the touch. Darren's death led to significant community and media attention, as well as calls for justice and accountability. As the community awaited the outcome of the investigation, there was considerable public commotion and demand for action. Human rights organizations, including the ACLU of Florida, requested intervention from the U.S. The community came together, demanding answers and accountability. The truth, once shrouded in the steam and shadows of that fateful night, now stands clear in the light of day. The one responsible for the tragic end of Darren Rainey was none other than those entrusted with his safety. The guards. Reports indicate that as a form of punishment for refusing to clean his cell, Rainey was locked in a shower by prison guards. The guards involved were found to have committed a severe abuse of power, neglecting the safety and well-being of Darren Rainey. It's a grim reality of the responsibility those in power have to protect and serve, even behind prison walls. The case of Darren Rainey was an awakening that shook the foundations of trust and duty, a stark reminder that justice must be served, not just for Darren, but for all who seek protection under the watchful eyes of those in power. In exploring the broader consequences of Darren Rainey's death, we must also consider the psychological impact on other inmates within the facility. Witnessing or even being aware of such a traumatic event can have lasting impacts on the mental well-being of prisoners. This aspect of prison life is often overlooked, yet it is crucial for understanding the full scope of the incident's impacts. In the wake of Darren Rainey's tragic death, Dade Correctional Institution has continued to face criticism. The harsh treatment within the walls of Dade Correctional Institution extends beyond the case of Darren Rainey. Reports of inmate abuse, especially targeting those with mental illnesses, have surfaced, stating inhumane treatment and neglect. There have been reports of severe punishment and verbal abuse, painting a grim picture of the conditions inmates face. In one harrowing account, an officer's words to an inmate were chilling: "Go ahead and kill yourself. No one will miss you." A significant incident occurred on February 14, 2022, when an inmate's death led to the arrest of 4 correctional officers. This event prompted the Florida Department of Corrections to implement additional officer training and operational changes within the institution. Furthermore, the U.S. Department of Justice's Civil Rights Division launched a criminal investigation into the circumstances surrounding Rainey's death, signaling a move towards accountability and reform. These developments highlight the ongoing challenges within the correctional system and emphasize the need for constant monitoring and support for the rights of inmates. But what happened next was almost as shocking as the event itself. Despite the gruesome scene and the outrage of human rights organizations, the guards involved faced no criminal charges. The aftermath of Darren's death was fraught with controversy. Initial investigations into Darren's death were plagued by delays and disputes. The autopsy took years to conduct, and the results were challenged. Paramedics found Rainey with 2nd and 3rd degree burns on 30% of his body. Despite the gruesome nature of his injuries, the official autopsy report ruled his death an accident, citing complications from schizophrenia, heart disease, and confinement to a shower. However, this conclusion was met with skepticism from experts and the public alike, given the gruesome nature of Darren's injuries, and photographs taken after his death showed extensive burns and the conditions of his death, contradicting the official report. Darren's family filed a civil rights lawsuit against the Florida Department of Corrections. The details of the settlement are confidential, but the case led to reforms in the prison system and raised awareness about the treatment of inmates, especially those with mental health issues. Darren's family eventually settled with the state for $4.5 million, but the settlement did little to put an end to the demand for accountability. Darren's case is a reminder of the need for prison reform and the protection of human rights. It challenges us to ask tough questions about the justice system and how we treat the most vulnerable in society. Thank you for watching our video. We hope it has provided you with a deeper understanding of the tragic case of Darren Rainey. If you found this content informative, please consider subscribing to our channel for more investigative reports and discussions on crucial topics. Together, we can make a difference.